Welcome to the Wheelybins Mayhem Republic Wheelybins TV. Sit back and relax and enjoy the mayhem.
Wheelybins TV here on the Wheelybins Mayhem Republic. We hope you're having a fantastic evening. Thanks for tuning in for tonight's race. We are at Monza this evening and we're racing GT3 cars. Pete, are you there?
Great day here at Monza.
It is a great day at Monza. I've forgotten what cars we're racing tonight. I know we've got a BMW, a Merc and an Audi. What were the other ones we've got on track tonight?
Mate, we'll also have, okay, who have we got? We've got quite a mix of Mercedes and BMWs out there right at the moment. The Audi's turned up. That's pretty well all we've got so far. multiple Benzes, multiple Audis, and a couple of BMWs. The Ford GT3 is available to use today.
This should be interesting. I think the Mercs have got a little bit over on this track with their top speed down the straight, and also braking ability into those chicanes makes a big difference.
It's very hard to outbrake the Mercedes GT3.
Yeah, and while we're here, we'd like to thank a few of our sponsors that help us out at the Wheelybins Mayhem Republic. We've got Shock Electronics, Limelight Motorsport, Sonic Works, and West End Mazda, all proud sponsors of the Wheelybins Mayhem Republic, and also assist us with getting Wheelybins TV up on the air.
Mate, it's great to have Wheelybins TV on a Monday night. It's unusual. It's been a Saturday night experience, but here we are Monday nights for the GT3 race.
It is. It's something a little bit different. As we'll head over to the track and see what these guys are up to.
Sounds good. Mate, I'm already over here. I'm just overlooking the pits. We've got a few cars heading out now. Mate, there's about 20 cars here already. We've still got half an hour of practice.
It's going to be a good turnout tonight then, and trying to work out some of the top speeds so far. The best looks like Eugene with a 146.9.
Mate, the Panthers cracked the 147s. He's the only one so far. It's early and the track is getting better.
We'll have a bit of a roll through the top 10 so far in practice. You say Eugene there at the top. We've got Gordon, who's in number 2. The Chief Shane Evans in number 3. Duran sitting there number 4. It's going to be very hard to beat, I'm sure. Mitch Brown in number 5. Cameron Posey sitting in 6. Pete Davison, yourself, in number 7. Not too bad.
Mate, I just thought I'd get out there early and circulate, get a feel for the track, give me a better idea of, thing that needs to pop up we can talk about later. We might even have the opportunity of speaking to a driver, or I'll take you for a lap a little later before them.
Yeah, it sounds good. In number 8 we've got Tyson, and 9 Stewart. Tyson's just been shuffled back to 9 and Stewart into number 10. So it's going to be a very interesting race this evening, I think. The GT3's always put on a good show here at Monza.
Mate, the eligible cars for this evening would be the McLaren MP412C GT3, the which I haven't seen one out there yet. The BMW Z4 GT3, as mentioned, the Ford GT GT3, Mercedes AMG GT3, the R8 LMS Audi, and the Ferrari 488 GT3, which is a fairly new car. It seems quite popular though.
Alright, having a look at the top of the time chart so far. Eugene out on track as he comes through the chicanes. Very quick driver when he wants to be. Let's see if he can pull it all together tonight, and he might take out a race win.
The Panther comes out hard in practice. He's certainly a pace setter. We'll see him in the top handful of cars tonight, no doubt. Shane Evans, the Chief, in second there in car 17. He's a tenth slower than Eugene. But certainly in race trim, things change a little bit.
That's certainly the case, and Duran out there as well, normally always fast in the V8 supercars. Let's see if he can put it together in the GT3 tonight.
Well, we see Wolf's picked up a championship in the V8s already this year, which I see just finished up. So congratulations to him. But yeah, no, certainly a strong competitor on this circuit in these cars.
Yes. Some other... you go ahead.
Gordon Bombos. His name's hasn't been around a lot lately, but he's popped up, mate. Certainly on the pace early. Yeah. The 147.1.
Looks like he might be in an Audi tonight as well, driving the R8. Good time for the Audi.
Mate, great car around here. The Audi's a really nice car. It's a little tricky. It changes direction quite quickly, which makes it, I think, suited better to the technical tracks. Whereas the AMG GT3 is a good, solid all-round performer.
Also out on track at the moment, Jace Richards sitting in 5th. Best laps are 147.4, driving the Mercedes also. Always, he's done quite well the other night actually, by memory, in the supercars the other night around the where were we? The sandpit, Laguna Seca.
Last night at Laguna Seca. JC Richards, he's good in a V8. I see he's got some new sponsors on the side of that AMG this evening. Is that a Wheelybins sticker I see on the side?
It's quite possible, that's for sure. I will just have to fire up my trading paints. Actually, there's one thing I forgot to load up this evening, so we'll load that up, and we might be able to have a bit of a look at that.
Mate, he definitely got some Mayhem Republic, Wheelybins Mayhem Republic advertising there, just promoting the club, which is good to see. Tell you what, when you throw a name up, there's a lot of cars to get around. We've got over 20 cars here at the moment. We're looking at about 24 cars. So
I think there's a lot of people looking for their 5 minutes of fame tonight on the Wheelybins TV. So let's hopefully have a good, clean race,
mate. A little bit of searching for that 5 minutes of fame will certainly bring a few of these boys out on a Monday night. Good to see.
Tyson McAvoy in the red and black Mercedes tonight. Strong performer in the GT3 cars and the GTEs. Does very well. Seems to like that traction control and the anti-lock brakes. I think that helps him a lot compared to the V8 supercar. But well, he's also improved in that as well. Come a long way in the last 12 months that he's been with us here at the Wheelybins.
Mate, Tyson likes this circuit, and we've seen somebody at the second chicane in one of the Ferraris just off there in the background. We've got Duran chasing Tyson, actually. It's Russell Boardman, car 78.
Okay, yeah, taking it back to the pits.
Yeah, he's just thrown a few stones. Oh, he's lost the rear end. Looks, and he's tagged the front. Back off into the sand trap. And he's gone back to the pits.
Taking a look at some other cars out on track. Who we got?
We've got the Chief out. We've got Stuart Carsley out. Tell you what, the Shell team. It's got a few drivers out here this evening.
There's a few Shell cars. I also see there was a John Player Special AMG Mercedes as well. Very nice paint job.
It may be a JPS BMW there, Dan.
Ah, that could be.
I think that's car 13.
Car 13 of Ian? Not Ian, sorry. Stuart.
Stuart Brinsmade, I believe, is in that car.
Yeah, it is.
And we've actually... Sorry, mate, to cut you off. We've got Len Williams and Kyle Stokes out of the pits, so we've got another Ferrari and another Audi heading out. Great liveries on those cars.
And the Ferrari traditional red always looks fast. And Kyle running the Valvoline Australian flag livery as well in the 888.
Yeah, well, we saw that car at the last Bathurst 12 hour, I believe. Was that a Garth Tander driven car?
It's possible. I couldn't say that for sure.
Yeah, it didn't do very well, but I did see that liveries come from the Australian Bathurst 12 hour of 2017.
Actually, we'll have to keep an eye out on Russell Boardman tonight. It seems that he is being the law enforcement here tonight. He is the Justice Department here on track. He's about to head out for a few laps. He's arriving the Ferrari 488 GT3 tonight.
Now, is that from Smokey and the Bandit? Is that Buford T Justice?
It's quite possible, that's for sure. Not too bad. Custom work. Well, good to see.
Right. Looks great.
We always need some law enforcement in some of these rooms, that's for sure.
Hey, totally. Couldn't agree with you more there.
Someone else out on track, Jacob Knight, sitting in 7th at the moment with a 147.5 in the blue and white Mercedes.
It's a lot of cars. The top 10 are in the 147s. Actually, the top 8. JC Richards has come up with the 2-1.
We've got 20 minutes remaining in the practice session, and then we're going to head into a qualify session to get our race grid for tonight's race. 45-minute race tonight or 40-minute race?
1 hour practice, 15-minute qualifying with an official race time of 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Your rolling start?
Yeah, because these GT3s are quite hard to get off the mark.
Very difficult. And obviously into the first Variante and the Goodyear Variante turn 1 can cause a lot of issue with these cars, so we hope everyone takes it easy going into 1.
Yeah, that chicane certainly does cause some trouble when you're at a top speed and having to brake so hard. Everyone concertina's up behind.
Mate, cold tyres, everyone's ready to go fast, and then all of a sudden you have to go slow. Not ideal. Mind you, a few of the guys these days I've seen they'll just shortcut, go straight through the off-road, as we see Jacob. Jacob's off at one of the Lesmos.
He is. That happened about 15 seconds ago. You might want to flick your cameras a little bit forward onto a live view.
Thanks, mate. I'll do that now. Oh, it's Sunday. Just kidding. We got Jacob back up to speed though. Tyres seem okay. He certainly, I think he may have actually been shopping on Black Friday, and I heard a rumour the other day that he's got a set of V3 Club Sport pedals under his feet at the moment, so that'll help him no end.
That will help him, certainly. It'll pick up the pace of that car, a little bit more feel on that brake pedal. You can use a bit more muscle memory, I believe, compared to the older Peto, I think it's a Petometer style brake pedal, so that'll work out a lot better for him.
Only problem with that, knowing from experience, is that it's going to take him a little while to get that muscle memory there. Great looking turned out car though with the Petronas.
It looked very quick there through the chicanes there too. Very stable, just a little nick of the curbs on the inside. That's one thing you got to really watch with these vehicles, is they don't like the curbs. You got to keep them off the curb, but still get that apex nice and close. As Jacobs put it around again, that's that last corner. He comes in. I'm guessing it's a downshift issue. Sometimes you can just pinch the rears and doesn't allow you to quite rotate the car, and over rotates the car.
Could that be something to do with his new brake pedals?
It could be. It's maybe something to do with getting used to that, or his brake bias as well.
The pedo versus the load cell braking is a very different experience.
While we've been chatting, Jace Richards has gone up into P1 with a 1:46.6, so just beat Eugene by 0.02 of a second.
Nice lap. Nice lap, but the Panther's out again, and he'll be trying his best to put himself back on number one. And just for the sheer psychology of him leading into quali in the top spot.
Yeah, I wonder if he'll be making some changes to that vehicle towards the end of practice, as he usually does before qualify. Sometimes it's a roll of the dice as to whether it works for him, that's for sure.
Certainly loves to make changes at the last possible minute to that car. Sometimes they work, and sometimes you've got to learn everything again. And mate, with the level of competition in this GT3 race tonight on Wheelybins Mayhem Republic, I don't think he's going to have a lot of time to learn how to drive.
No, that's right, but he must have done something right, because he's just taken 4 100ths off his best time and gone back to P1 on the top 10 charts.
The Panther is back on 1. He made it look easy. Saw JC put down a lap time that beat him by 2/10, and he's come back and now beat him by 2/10. Well done.
He's definitely got that car on hum tonight. Hopefully that translates into a race win for him.
Oh, he's certainly going to be up there. As we know, 45-minute lap around here can open up to a few mistakes quite easily. Usually the teams do it on one set of tyres too.
Yeah.
So by the ladder, they're rolling into the last 10-15 minutes. Unless you've been looking after your tyres, it certainly gets a little bit slippery.
It does. With the pit stops of these vehicles, of course, not like the supercar where they can change the tyres at the same time they're refueling. It's actually an extra step which can make your pit stop about 45 seconds long if you decide to take tyres, and can set you quite a way back in lap time on track position.
Mate, due to budget constraints, I believe the Wheelybins GT Mayhem Republic only allow 1 air gun for the teams, and that's what takes the time.
Oh, that would be it too. They've probably made that extra saving to put on the carton out the back.
That would possibly be for the beer and barbecue for the drivers that had huge accidents and unfortunately, or mechanical failures and pull out early. So it's the sort of bonding group that we have here.
Yeah, it's certainly, I think, a cutback that was necessary. So to have that beer and barbecue out the back and up, but only have one rattle gun for the whole team, for all the teams, it is a good compromise, I think.
I'd agree. I'd agree with. Eugene's just come out and gone another 1/10 up. Well, no, another 0.5.
Certainly turning out the times, doing very well.
Making it look easy. Just running over the mats. Oh, he's wide on that one. That might have actually picked up a run wide for the two wheels on the mat. As he comes into Ascari, it's nice, he's pushing. So making it look easy, nice tight line.
It was just a little nip of the curb on the inside, good apex.
Run it wide on the outside. Who's that chasing him? Oh, it's Alan Caldwell. The monster, Alan the Monster cars out there. And is that the Chief in front of the Panther? No, it's Stewart. It's going to be hard to pick up the shell cars tonight. I've seen 3 of them so far.
Yeah,
V-Power put a lot of money in this class.
They do. Actually, Alan's car looks stunning with that grey and bright green for the Monster Energy. Nice paintwork.
Well, it does look great looking car.
Someone else who's a contender tonight is Jason Lee. He's in the blue AMG tonight. Always a very consistent mid-pack driver, but has the occasional, you know, top 5 finish as well, so could be in for a good roll tonight.
Yeah, Jason picked up that car a little while ago. I'm not sure of its history. He's turned up for a few GT3 races and very solid driver. I've actually had to race him in that when we had a mixed class event, and I was in the Ford GT, the 2017 model. And mate, very hard man to beat on the brakes in that car. Very, very good on the brakes.
And looks like our resident Cookie has come out tonight in a BMW running the Valvoline.
Yeah, I saw Cookie before. Oh, who's that behind? Sorry, mate, I was just still watching Jason as Jacob Knight loses it.
He is giving him a bit of a hard time there.
Cookie be running the Valvoline car. He's staples the BMW. Feels that he likes the balance.
Ian's just made the pass there with the Mercedes. Definitely quicker in a straight line than Mercedes, and it'll eat him up in the braking zone as well.
Didn't get a big run, the BMW, when it came out. Only had a very short lifespan. Came out at the end of about the 14-15 season, and just before the GT3 AMG turned up, and I think the AMG's just taken it to another step up.
It has, but a lot of drivers do say the BMW is probably the closest to likeness when it comes to actually a V8 supercar. Some of the real V8 supercar drivers drive the BMW because it's a lot closer than what the V8 supercar actually is in the sim.
Okay, I do have it in my garage on iRacing, and it's a tough car to drive.
It is a very tough car to drive, and that short wheelbase can be a good thing and a bad thing. Corners in nice and tight, but is also very loose as well, not a lot of stability.
And if you have a look behind Cookie at the moment, we've had Dave Douglas sneak in.
The shoey.
Dave Douglas and his shoey. Now, we've seen Dave Douglas win a Wheelie Bin series before. I think he picked up the #1 spot for the Winter Series in 17.
Yeah, that would be correct.
He's another guy, certainly comes out very aggressive driver and with a lot of talent and ability. He's got a bad attitude though, from what some of the other drivers tell me.
Oh, okay, a bit of a grump in the pit lane.
No, just teasing him. No, he's a good guy, Dave. Great driver. Wears his Wheelie Bin shirt with pride that he won for P1 in the Winter Series.
Yes, he did well with that, and there's some great prizes on the offer for that series too. Hopefully we'll have some more of them in 2018. But just over 10 minutes remaining here in the practice session. Top 10 still hasn't really changed a lot in the last 5 minutes. Still Eugene up the top. The Chief down in number 5 tonight. A little bit off pace maybe for him, but he's normally sometimes around the 3 to 5 position, and normally always waits for the guys up the front to possibly make a mistake before he pounces.
Mate, he's only 7/10ths back from Eugene, and the Panther has thrown down like one of the fastest laps I think I've seen around here. So he's not too far off at the moment.
Direct.
Just on that note, if you go to www.wheelybinsmayhemrepublic.com, you can see some of the shirts and even pick yourself up a stubby holder.
You can. I've actually got my drinking one right now.
Nice, nice. And if you see, I think that Muttley at the shop there, you can see the shirts and the stubby holders which are available for purchase.
Yeah, some fantastic models that we picked up off the street. Did a good job modelling the shirts for us.
Yeah, they did. They just happened to live in Victoria near each other, so that just worked out really well.
It did. Whether it was against their will or not, I'm not too sure, but the photo's up there and it for everyone to see. Tyson's put down a good time too, moving himself up from 12 into 8th position in the practice times.
Nice one, a 1:47.5 for Tyson. He likes the Mercedes, he likes this circuit. We'll see Tyson go. In race trim, Tyson's very fast.
Certainly is. And Stewart's out there on the track now in the JPS car. Gee, that looks good with the black and gold. Really suits that style of the BMW body shape.
It does. It's a great looking car. It's back a few memories of Ayrton Senna, Nigel Mansell.
Yes, all very famous
80s.
drivers that race that livery. That's right. I think there was possibly one of the Australian touring car series cars that ran that too, possibly.
635 BMW of Jimmy Richards.
That's the one. See, you've got the history.
Now, also, I think I think Danny Holm would have put his ass in one of those, and I think we would have seen Johnny Giacotto as well. But I can't think of who the fourth driver would have been. But what a great looking car. Olympus cameras. We don't hear a lot about Olympus cameras these days either.
Yeah, that's one of those things that are a pastime now. Everyone takes a photo on their phone. The old point and shoot and cameras is sort of a thing of the past almost, apart from your larger SLRs.
Yeah, no, who would have thought, we wouldn't have Kodak as a company after 2010.
All come and go. Stewart's another person out there at the moment, sitting in P13 and another Shell car. So is that 3 cars in the Shell garage this weekend or tonight?
Stuart Carsley, he's another V8 driver. He a good mid to front pack runner. Likes this car. Hasn't had a lot of time in it though. Spends a lot more time driving the V8s.
It's certainly a good opportunity to mix it up throughout the week. We drive the V8s quite often on different tracks, but the GT3s are a different beast to handle and really enjoyable, especially around a track like Monza.
Great car, lots of slipstreaming, lots of braking. Really fun car here. I struggle a little bit with the swapping from left-hand to right-hand drive, but thankfully the walls are a little bit further off the track here than some of the other circuits, and you can get away with it.
Yeah, that's definitely a downfall, especially at the Bathurst in these. Yeah, that left-hand drive, the walls seems to be closer than what you thought it was. Brendan Ryan,
TAFE team's always very busy up at Bathurst when the GT3s are on.
Brendan Ryan, number 3's also snuck into the session as well, sitting in number 18 at the moment, running the BMW tonight. He really enjoys that car. He's not in it for the win of the race, but I think he just enjoys driving that vehicle.
And a great looking car. It's got a fairly late model livery on it. Looks good.
And Vincent's also come in as well, driving the Ferrari. Very talented driver. Has been spending a lot of time on the oval circuits lately, driving the NASCARs and doing really well, beating the Americans at their own game.
I see Skilby's got a lot of sponsorship from a lot of the companies that support Wheelybins Mayhem Republic. I can see it's his first day too, on the back of his car. Skilby certainly will be up in the top 5. Yeah,
provided you can put it onto the grid further north on the grid, he won't get caught up in any trouble that may happen down the rear. He will have a good race.
We've got 24 cars have entered for tonight's event. Skilby's in 19 now. It's only 3rd lap though, so he's put one in the bank. He'll just be settling in, warming everything up, just getting a feel for the car. Track conditions have changed a little bit since he probably drove here last. We're at it's a cloudy 18 degrees today, so it's actually perfect conditions for a 45-minute race. The track temperature is 22 degrees. There's about 3 kilometers of wind, and the humidity is pretty low.
Well, that's good for tyre life this evening anyway, so the tyres will definitely last the distance with the cooler temperatures. The warmer tracks definitely wear the tyres out, and by the end of it, it feels like you're on ice.
I still think we'll see a few people pushing hard tonight and heating those tyres up. Yeah, it'll make the last 15 minutes very interesting.
Mitch Brown, another new player. I haven't seen that name around the traps very often, but put in a good time, sitting in position 8th of practice at the moment, in the Mercedes as well.
Oh, he's in an Erebus Mercedes by the looks of things.
Yeah, Betty's obviously thrown some money his way, and a AMG as well. It was probably her Sunday driver until she moved to Holden's in the V8 team, and she had to give it up.
Yeah, well, that might have been Jack LeBrock's old car now that he's gone, that he's going somewhere else. Yeah. Could have palmed off his old Bathurst winning car by that livery. Was that the trying to think who was the other driver when they got 3rd in that car? Honda dealer from Tasmania. Greg. Anyway, great looking car. Nice lap, a 147.4 for Mitch Brown. Puts him in 8th position.
It's a solid lap anyway, and it's a good place to be. Around about that 5 to 10 mark on the grid's normally a good spot to be. If you're up the front too far, you put under pressure in that first corner, whereas that mid part of the grid, you sort of the pressure's off a little bit to follow the lead guys for the first lap. And if you're down the back, then you're possibly in the trouble of people getting hit up the backside or taking someone else out.
Well, the starts of this place is certainly interesting. We've got under 5 minutes to go, and the Wolf, Duran, Nicora, has put in a 146.6, which has put him into 2nd place.
He's been creeping up there, hasn't he, all through this practice session. I think he was about 9th when we started off, and crept up. Eugene will definitely be looking at what Duran's been doing across in the pit lane, and watching what he's doing carefully.
Well, the top 5, the only car out is car 17 in the top 5, so the Chief's having a last crack, 3 minutes to go, just to try and see if he can get beat the psychological game of putting himself up a little bit higher. Top 5 is a great spot with a 147 neat. It's a good lap. We've got 9 cars in the 147s, 4 cars in 146, 4 in the 148s, and the rest are 149 to 150. That's a pretty close field.
Yeah, the top 10's very close, really. When you put, really, all those drivers are probably quite evenly matched in a race. When it comes to race pace, these laps in practice, obviously they can get a little bit better in their times, but when it comes to race pace, it makes a big difference.
So the Chief's out there trying to put down a lap. He's just coming across the finish line now for his first flying lap.
We'll go on board and just have a bit of a listen.
Great idea. Great idea.
Sit on his left-hand front guard there as he comes through that first chicane. All a little bit tail happy. Just the sound of that Mercedes. That sounds awesome, doesn't it?
I was going to say, it certainly changes what I can hear now. All I can hear is the Chief as he comes into Retafilio. No. Roggia.
Actually, if we're lucky, once we get around to the end of this lap, we might have a bit of a chat to Chief and see how the track is tonight. We'll let him finish this lap first. Or should we be cheeky and annoy him mid-race, mid-lap?
Once he's through Ascari, we might jump on board and see how he's going. nice through Ascari's, pushing hard.
Now, I'm not too sure with our audio setups here. Oh, he's had an off. We'll have a chat to him. I'm not too sure if you'll be able to hear him, Pete, with the audio setup, but we'll have a chat to him anyway. Chief, you got a copy there, mate. How was that lap? A little bit rough there in the end. I'm not sure if he's actually answering me.
That's okay. We've got, yeah, well, something happened there. We had a rear end, just stepped out on him down the back straight, and he didn't get to finish that lap.
No, that's unfortunate.
Okay, so practice is finished with Eugene on top. Gordon.
Yeah, he did well hold that number 1 position out in practice. We'll see how he can hold it off for this qualifying session.
Well done for Gordon. Eugene in 1. We had the Wolf in 2. JC Richards was in 3. Jacob in 4. The Chief, who's out, he's out there pushing hard straight away. No surprises there. He was in 5. 6th we had Gordon Bombos.
And he was in the Audi as well.
Yes, he was in the Audi. The Audi's a good car. The Audi's a great little car.
The first of the Audis in the top 10.
Okay, Kyle Stokes was 7. Now, what have we got Kyle in? Kyle's in an Audi as well. 8th we had Mitch Brown, the Mercedes. 9 we had Len Williams. Len's in a Ferrari. He's the first of the 488s. Counting out the top 10, we had Tyson, who's in the Mercedes. Tyson's still in the pits for some reason.
I think he had a little bit of an off there at the second chicane. Might have put the rear around and into the wall.
And we've got 3 cars backing themselves up down the back of the circuit. As they go through Ascari to start their first lap. Who we got? Is the Chief our first car out there? He is, isn't he?
He was our first car out on track, that's right.
Here we go, the Chief's just starting his first flying lap.
Lights are ablaze down at that first chicane. Brake late right on that 100-metre mark. Good turn in, little bit of curb. Flip from the right into the left. Great use of that exit curb.
And tyres, you know, this is only their first flying lap, so tyres haven't come up to temperature yet. So, you know, it's that balance of pushing hard to get a lap down early, or too hard and not putting one down at all.
Yes, you don't want to stuff it up, that's for sure. You want to make sure you can get a few laps under your belt. But you don't want to also overheat those tyres because they will play out underneath you. They'll start sliding around.
Mate, those first 2 laps are when your tyres really work, or you can really punish them. And the Chief's just putting, he's just banking the lap.
It's always good to get the first lap down and get one in the bank to start with, because it may not be the fastest lap, but at least it could put you in the top 5.
I think we've had Wayne Shepherd turn up too since we were talking. Wayne's now turned up for qualifying. So we've got 25 cars entered tonight.
It's a good field. Yeah, he's out there in the McLaren, in the MP4, the Marlboro vehicle.
Versus the McLarens.
Yeah, the flames out the back. A spectacular car to watch as they come into the corners.
It is a spectacular car to watch, and used to be the car of choice to go fast. Again, these next series GT3 cars seem to just be a little bit better balanced, a little bit of power, a little bit better braking. But yeah, spewing flames out. That looks environmentally friendly.
Certainly does. Shane's put down a good lap for his first lap. He put down a 1:46.5.
Cracker lap. Cracker lap by Shane. Then 2, Stuart Carsley. No, 2, Jacob Knight with a 147.3. And Stuart Carsley, a 147.6. Jason Lee, as you predicted, a 147.6 in 4. No, he's just been knocked off by Eugene Blurton, who's just been knocked off by Duran with a 146.4.
That's a quick time. Shane probably thought he had it there for a pick with a 146.5.
It was, well, they're the fastest laps we've seen this evening.
He certainly didn't hold anything back on that. So the top 10 still looking a little bit different compared to the practice, especially from 5 down. Vincent there in P9, Len Williams P7, Jason Lee in P6. The second of the Shell V-Power cars, Stuart Carsley, sitting in P5 at the moment.
Stuart did really well. He was in 2 till the onslaught from the Panther, Jacob and the Wolf. Russell's put a lap down now in the Ferrari. He's a 150, 151, which puts him in 12.
Being he has that police sheriff livery tonight, we might adapt his name to being the Enforcer.
The Enforcer. Enforcer has put down a lap and he's in 12.
The Enforcer of the law.
We've got JC out there. We've got Dave Douglas backwards, but he's got a little bit of damage on his rear wing, so I think we'll see him pull off and put that car away. No, he's still out there to get a lap down. We've got 9 minutes left of qualifying. Len Williams looks like he would have just run a bit wide and lost his qualifying time in that Ferrari. He's looking to do better than the 48.2, currently in 6th in the Ferrari.
Just flipping back, having a look at the replay to see what happened to Dave Douglas there. Down that main straight. Into the chicane, all looked good.
Oh, is he just starting his lap by the looks of things?
I can't quite see where he's actually attained that damage anyway, but out on track, still putting down the lap. That little bit of bent wing shouldn't be interfering too much with that vehicle, hopefully.
15 cars have put a lap down now.
Good times as well. The top 3 in the 146s.
Duran and the Chief have both just beaten their previous times. The Wolf's now on a 146.3. Shane Evans is on a 146.5. The Panther a 146.9, and then JC Richards a 147.1 in 4. And they're all still out there. The Wolf's still there, Panther's still there, Skilby's in his Ferrari pushing hard. Tyson's got a 148.9. He'll be trying to beat that, but he's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. Although he might be able to use Jason Lee as a slipstream if it's in the right spot, and this could definitely help Tyson's time as he comes out of the Parabolica back onto the start-finish straight. Good spot to be behind a car. Let's just see if he's close enough to get some slipstream.
He actually did put down a good time there. You just might want to flick back to live again. Either that or I was ahead of you or something like that.
147.7 for Tyson. He knocked 8/10 off that.
That slipstream down that start-finish straight is a good thing, especially if you're already on a good lap and you get a little bit of slipstream. Take that extra possible couple of half points a seconds off.
Mate, it's interesting. It must have been when I came back for qualifying. I had to reset where I was watching. So. Tyson's pushing hard still, though. He's still got some life left in those tyres. Putting back to 9th. Cameron Pusey's come back with a flat 147. So is Dave Douglas. So he's now banked a good lap at a 147.050 for Dave Douglas. Puts him in the 4th place.
That's a great lap for Dave. Cameron's normally always quick in these cars too, and definitely one to watch. Great livery there. He's running the Gas Monkey Garage livery. Something a little bit different.
Yeah, Cameron Pusey driving the AMG GT3. Certainly giving it a crack on two wheels through the chicane.
Less than a second splitting your top six.
We could probably throw 7 into that, Jacob. All covered by a second. Lights ablaze, the boys are pushing. They know that we're running out of time. We've got just over 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. We've got 19 cars now have put down a lap. We've got 26 cars have turned up. Car 29's just turned up. Yellow AMG of Ian Holt.
Car 29.
He's in the pits. He's in the pits, but he's made it. Just made it with 5 minutes to go, so it's good to see. There's 27 cars.
Should be a good race, and hopefully Ian's able to get out there and get a lap down for this race.
I just jumped into the sim for a moment there, Dan, and Ian's just pulled out. It looks like Eugene has shared his setup with him, and Ian's just gone to set the car up before he comes out, and he's just coming out of the pits now. So 20 cars now. Russell Boardman, the enforcer, in 20th with the 151 versus Duran in 1 with a 146.3.
Very bright car that Holtzy's running tonight with the yellow and red.
Now,
I'd be able to miss him.
Does he usually have this car? I don't know if I've seen him in this car before.
Yeah, that's true. He may have just bought that just for this race. I can't say I have seen him in it before, and it's not like Holty to be running something that's a little bit simple when it comes to a paint job.
Certainly, yep. He likes to do his own liveries up, and possibly been busy sandbagging his house with all the wild weather they've had in Victoria and Melbourne lately. But good to see him here.
He might be having a bit of wet feet.
His new car. Slipping off the pedals, I'm sure he brought his little floor mat with him to wipe his feet on before he got in the car.
Yeah, a bit of a shout out to Holtzy. He's actually one of our resident graphic designers, and helped us a lot when it comes to graphic designing our t-shirts and stubby coolers, so he does a lot of good work for the Wheelie Bins.
And JC's just gone past him. He's looking to get another lap down. He's in third. He's only under half a second slower than the Wolf. I think he wants that P1. He's giving it a nudge.
He's definitely fighting for that $1,000 check for the Armour All pole position tonight.
Yes, definitely.
2 minutes remaining on the clock.
I thought it was the Shock Electronics Limelight Motorsport Sonic Works West End Mazda check tonight.
That could be the one too. Although that check's going to be substantially less than the $1,000.
I think we'll just be checking that they're ready to start. Will be that check. But hopefully we'll still have we'll have one of each promotional staff on board for the drivers to be entertained with. Visually entertained, that is.
Eugene's just gone out for another flyer as he's just coming around to start his first lap through that first chicane. Sitting in fourth at the moment. He'll be looking to take 5/10 off that time and put himself up into P1. I can imagine he's been in and made those few last minute changes.
He would be. He would be in a 146.9 is pretty good for the Panther.
Ooh.
Oh, he's just gone off.
He has. He's pulled it up, decided it's no good.
You may want to use those tyres at some stage, so no use to destroy them and lock them up. Will we see him back out again for another attempt? I don't think he'll have enough time to get around.
No, we've got a minute left. The cars will be out, the ones that are on the track at the moment, doing their final laps.
We've got 5 cars now with Jacob in the 146, so he did do a better lap. 146.9. Skilby's back to 14, which is unusual. He's usually a bit quicker than that. He won't be happy this evening with that. Jason Lee, oh, we've had a little bit of... Everybody's out there trying to get a bit of a better starting position, and seeing a few mistakes at the moment.
Yes, could be costing them a little bit. I was just flicking through the time sheets as we've got 10 seconds remaining in this qualifying session. Time clock has run out. They give us an extra 2 minutes to finish any remaining laps that are out on the track at the moment. As we've just seen Jacob Knight put it into the wall, so that lap certainly isn't going to count for him.
No, and that'll be his final lap for this evening. He's going to have to rush to get that car fixed. He's only got 5 minutes until the race starts. Oh, and you can see a little bit of a tail slide, and that's a big accident too.
It was. There's a lot of damage to the front of that car. So provisional qualifying results at the moment, only 2 minutes remaining. If these are unchanged, got the Wolf sitting in number 1. Shane in number 2, only just 2/10 behind him. JC Richards, sorry. Eugene, P4. Jacob Knight, P5. Dave Douglas in P6. P7, Cameron Posey. Number 8, Tyson. Number 9, Kyle. And number 10, Stuart. Very good lap times there. Great top 10.
And excellent. Really good lap times. 146.3 for Duran. Even anyone down to a 147 neat, where Cam and Dave Douglas are. They're very good lap times in these cars, in these conditions around this circuit. Should be a great race.
Certainly should be.
22 cars qualified. We still have a couple of... We've got Cookie and Gordon. I'm not quite sure why they haven't turned up. 23. Now, Muttley,
just while we've got this minute to go and qualifying, I'll just take a quick break to refill my drink, ready for the race. So if there's anybody else out there needs a drink before the big hit, make sure you check in now.
Thanks, Dan. See you in 60.
As we see the cars starting to grid up. A rolling start here for the GT3s at Monza this evening. just under 30 seconds to go before these cars roll up on their rolling start. The grid starts to fill up.
Alright, we've got 24 seconds to go until the start of this race.
Not too far off now, they're all sitting on the grid. Just a couple of more stragglers still to come.
Wow, they look good. Behind the safety car, what a great looking turnout for tonight's race, Dan.
It is very impressive. Good to see them all here. I'm sure it's going to be a great race. These GT3s always do. The parity between drivers and cars is fantastic, so always makes some good racing. Just let's hope we get through that first corner as we roll down for the first to start behind the pace car.
It's a rolling start, and we should have Duran there leading them behind the safety car. Duran with his Rack Corp sponsorship. Chief, a few boys are warming up some tyres. JC's warming up his tyres. The Panther, he'll be keen to get out there and grab a few of those spots back. Well, the Chief, he's pushing. He's looking a little excited too. Duran looks super cool, just letting Chief egg him on a little bit.
They all look eager to go. We're running a Porsche safety car this evening, something a little bit different. Actually, I think we probably always run the Porsche with the GT3s, come to think of it.
We do. As we come out of the Parabolica onto the main straight, ready for a start. Once just settles in, the pace car's into the pit lane. We'll be on the pole position, we'll be holding the start until the green.
Green flag, we are go, go, go.
Good start from the Wolf. And good start from JC. Up the inside with 3 wide into 1.
It was a fantastic start.
Oh, we've had a bit of biff on the mid-pack. And everyone's through. Might have a couple of fenders. Oh, we've had a lot of stoppage there through the chicane. No one's turned around though, which is great.
Everyone seems to have managed to keep going, which is good.
We've got Duran out in front, but for second, we've had Jacob come into second place now. It's just around the Chief for 3. And JC up the inside. No, Chief holds him out with the wider line. Here comes the Panther, 4. Oh, and there's Cameron Pusey up the inside.
Yeah, he decided to back out of that move, looked a little bit dangerous and pulled out of the inside lane there.
It did, but everyone settled in quite nicely for this first lap. We had obviously through the Retafilio, which is the first chicane, but now everybody's just settled in, and we're going to see some good racing, getting a bit of heat in their tyres and their brakes and out of their heads, and off we go.
Yeah, possibly interesting to see what happened there in the start. Ian Holt's been shuffled right back. He's 19 seconds behind the leaders. Whether he didn't end up putting a lap down and started rear of field or out from the pits possibly.
No, Ian did start rear of field, and he was one of the people impacted in the turn 1 incident, and I think he rolled out of that chicane in last position.
Well, as we come across the line for the first lap.
We've got a spin. We've got a spin of the Parabolica. Kyle Stokes doing the right thing, waiting for the whole field to go past.
See if we can the replay of that. Yeah, he's just come in, just pinched the rears again, and oh, lucky everybody was able to get past him there.
And he did a good job. He waited for the field to come past before he backed it out. Good driving.
Back up the front though, check out the top 10 after your first lap. We've got Duran the Wolf, number 1, Jacob in number 2, JC number 3, Shane number 4, number 5 Eugene. Pretty much
JC and the Chief up in 3 and 4, just swapping positions again. They're battling hard. Here's Chief up the inside. He likes the Lesmo. Does it stick? No, it doesn't. But that's gotten the Panther on the back of them. There's a little bit of a train. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You got the
3,
inside
4,
wall.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, whoops. Wrong channel.
Could be interesting as we go into Ascari. How good does that look, Dan? 7 cars, nose to tail.
Fantastic, isn't it? All doing is a real similar line through those corners.
Oh, and we've got to move with some flashing lights. Would that be Dave Douglas? It is Dave Douglas in the Exide car. Car 26, just on the back of the field. He's got Tyson in front of him, and we've got Cameron Pusey on Eugene down the main straight.
He's right on the tail, got that slipstream, looking for an inside run.
Up the inside.
See if he can pull this off under brakes.
Oh, we've got
car number 37.
Tyson.
Tyson, that was a disappointing move there.
Drilled the Panther.
Let's see if we can get a quick replay of the action through there. We come down the straight, we see Tyson in the shell car and right up the back of the Panther. That's unfortunate. Just put Eugene around. We've lost 3 or 4 positions, plus a lot of damage to the front of Tyson's vehicle there as well.
The fuel stops for this race, I'm not sure. Do we have 1 or 2 fuel stops?
Probably getting with the 45-minute race, we might be running into 3 stops. Depending on whether the settings were changed, we may get away with 2.
Tyson may have just been caught out a little bit. The big hole being punched in the air by the pack of cars in front of him, and he's just come in the slipstream a little bit hot. Extra 7 or 8 kilometre-hours faster, and he's just missed his braking mark, I'd say.
There's heavy damage to the back of Eugene's car also, so it's going to be affecting the speed. He's not going to be happy with that one, Eugene. Holding a real good position there. It's now pushed him back to 10th position.
So we've still got Duran out in front. 1.7 seconds behind Duran. We've got Jacob Knight. Solid drive from Jacob. Made a couple of positions up on the first lap. Now 2.3 seconds behind. The Wolf is pushing hard.
And JC is pushing hard up on the back of Jacob as well, looking for an inside run on that first chicane as well. No, he decides against it and ducks back in behind.
I thought Chief was going to go for that then down the main straight, but he's driving a sensible race as he runs a little wide. 2 wheels out on the dirt, but he's still there.
So you were right, I had the wrong car selected there. That is the Chief, yes. He did pull out of it. The smart move though. Still early in the race.
Very early in the race, and it looks like JC's got a little bit of damage on the passenger front right.
The bonnet is a little bit bent, which will be hurting his aero down the straight, which is possibly while the Chief got a run on him down on that straight.
Little mistake by Chief though, he's lost a second. JC's certainly making the most of it. And we've got Dave Douglas and Cam behind these two, pushing. We've still got Tyson. Tyson's not doing too bad. He's got Stewart behind him in the shell car. They're 2 cars go much faster around this circuit together. If Tyson can tuck on the back of one of these other drivers, he won't lose too much down the straights.
Certainly a bit of a Mercedes race though. Position 1 through to position 8 is all Mercedes. Our first car of a different make is Len Williams in the Ferrari 488.
Mate, and Tyson's just run wide through Ascari. He's got Stewart right next to him now for challenging into the Parabolica.
Side by side.
Tyson's not going to give up this position, but the two of them can hold it together, and it'll be interesting down the main straight.
I'm guessing there's some Shell V-Power team orders here. Keep the cars off each other.
Yes, definitely. I think that's the unspoken rule. Stewart, though, with a nice clean car, gets right away and goes around the outside. Nice move.
Just moving back to the first Ferrari in the pack, or the first of a non-Mercedes car, Len Williams in position 9, holding his own there in the Ferrari 488. Great car to drive, the Ferrari, very stable, nice to drive, but when it's up against these Mercedes, it's a little bit second class.
Mate, one of the better sounding cars out there too, Jits. I haven't driven it. I have got a couple of GT3 cars. Oh, as we're talking, and the Ferrari runs wide. Yeah, I haven't picked up the Ferrari yet. I keep meaning to, but instead I just take the Audi out, and I think they have very similar characteristics. The mid-engined V8 turbo. But yeah, great sounding car.
Moving back to the second Ferrari in the pack, Vincent in position 12. It looks like he's had a reasonably clean start to the race. There's no damage or any marks on that vehicle. He may have been a little bit tangled up in that first lap through the chicane mess, but he's managed to come out of that clean. I should see him progress a little bit here in that Ferrari. Very, very good behind the wheel of the Ferrari, that's for sure, and well favoured by him. As we've got a Ferrari off in the
McLaren. McLaren's backed it into the wall. That'd be Wayne Shepherd.
Wayne Shepherd will get a replay there and see what's happened. Come through that chicane, and he's hit that inside marker a little too hard. Bounced that inside car and lost the rear traction, and then backed it into the wall. Unfortunate.
They will damage your car if you hit them too hard.
They do, as we were speaking earlier. These cars aren't fond of the curbs, and through that last chicane there's some quite big bumps on just on the inside of that chicane. That can certainly launch the vehicle and do some underbody damage. We have one car in the pits, the Enforcer, Mr. Boardman, making a pit stop already. Possibly got some damage to that vehicle.
Right, down in 13, we've got Alan and Ian Willie battling. It's just in there, and then they're coming up on Wayne Shepherd now. Oh, it looks like though Alan's had a problem. He's dropped back another second. Behind them's Ian Holt.
He's picked up some valuable positions there of people who obviously had some errors, but up into 15th position. Got some damage to throw that car.
Oh, behind him in 16, we've got Stewart. Stewart out of control into the chicane. He's already got damage on the car.
Massive damage to that car. We'll get a replay of that because he comes through.
Big lock up.
Massive damage.
Oh, there he is in the background.
Yeah, something's seriously gone wrong as he's coming to that corner then, and lucky to keep that off the track and out of the way of the other drivers.
Yeah, he already had damage on that car. So if we go back to the wharf, well out in front at the moment, 5.6 seconds in front to Duran.
Huge gap, not a mark on the car, just settled into a rhythm.
JC in 2, very similar, just has a little bit of a mark on the front of that car though. I can't understand how it's still got the speed to stay away from the Chief, but it is.
We will be looking at some pit stops, I suppose. What do we're into lap 7. I'm not sure what the pit stop window is here, but we'll probably be looking at, I reckon the Chief will be the first one into pit. He's one of those drivers who likes to get the pit stop done early and look for that undercut on the other drivers.
And a lot of ground can be taken early in the race for track position from the early pit stop. It will usually in this race in the V8s it impacts your tyre wear, but there won't be any tyre changes with that one gun per team rule that we have. It just takes way too long to do tyres, so fuel only the pit stops.
Cameron's running an awesome race as well, up into 4th, and heading up to be on the heels of the Chief.
He is doing well. Cameron's very fast, knows the circuit, drives the GT3 car well, and he's catching. He's still 2 seconds off. So just out of the slipstream, which is where you really need to be in these cars in this big open circuit with the big fast straights. But look at the way he attacks the turns. He's certainly having a crack.
He's got some great stability, especially mid-corner speed through that car. No hints of understeer at all as he comes through that mid-corner and straight on that power. Gets a good run out of the corner.
Yes, early on the power, especially for the long straight. The great exit. Which, and it shows. It's picked him up. It's picked him up a couple of tenths.
Mitch Brown, one of our newcomers in that Erebus Motorsports vehicle, in position 9th. Doing quite nicely as well.
Mitch in ninth is doing very well. He's got the Panther, but he's got a damaged Panther behind him. The Panther, the car's a little bit unstable under brakes. Look, he's done a 1:49.7 his last lap, so definitely being hindered by that damage, but still in the top 10, so good to see for the Panther. Mitch is doing 1:48.2s. 1:49 in front of them is Len in the Ferrari in position 8. Punched out a 1:49.8. We've got Tyson's 1:49.2 in 7. He's 3 seconds up the road. Then we've got Dave Douglas. Dave's 4 seconds up the road, and he's in a 48.2. Right behind Jacob Knight. Jacob's obviously had a bit of an accident. He's got some damage on his rear wing, and Dave Douglas is on the attack for 4 and 5/5 and 6.
He's certainly looking to wheel in Jacob there. Jacob's with a bit of damage, but Dave's all over the back of him looking for that slipstream.
It looks like the Licorice Allsword car. And he's got him up the inside.
Up the inside, nice move.
Oh, hang on, we've got the undercut. Jacob's come back.
A drag race down the straight.
It's a drag race, and that damage doesn't seem to be slowing him up any, and he's on the inside line for the chicane.
Could get interesting. Who's going to brake late? Dave just brakes a little bit earlier.
Oh.
Manages to hold that car. Jacob's done well to get through that chicane.
Jacob's
very late.
in. Very nice move. He doesn't want to give up that position. These guys are 5 and 6. You'd think it was 1 and 2 in the last lap of the race the way they're going, because Dave's back on the attack again around the outside, which puts him on the inside.
Makes the move up the inside.
Oh, he does make the move.
A little bit
through
loose.
Curva Grand into Rogia, and Dave Douglas makes it stick. Jacob wasn't going to give that up, certainly pushed him as Dave runs wide. Oh, and the car bounced.
Oh, we've run wide again. Surely that's going to hurt him in some speed coming down this straight. And Jacob's going to get some slipstream onto him on the attack again into the chicane.
Runs wide coming out of Ascari. Keeps plenty of speed though. It's quite a common place to run wide and keep the speed, and the boys are back on the slipstream.
David seems to have gotten away with that move with a little bit of run wide. Jacob's probably just a freckle behind him, 0.3 behind him. 0.4 behind him down the straight now, probably just almost out of that slipstream. He's not quite going to get that stream down that main straight. I think Dave might have pulled this move off and be able to hang on to it.
Dave with the 1:48.4 on the previous lap, Jacob with the 1:48.9. This is far from over though, Dan.
Something that's happened is Cameron's made the pass on the Chief, Shane Evans.
Oh, so he has.
Fighting it out for positions 3 and 4.
Has, and the Chief is just sitting there. Knowing the Chief, he's quite a technical driver. Wouldn't surprise me if he's just not looking after his car a little bit more than the others at this point in the race.
Yeah, he's not always so keen to fight the position. He just like to hang there, and he'll sneak it back. That's for sure when the time is right. Right up behind him again though.
Well, he's getting a free ride. You know, he's got the slipstream, doing a bit of fuel saving. You know, a couple of laps like this save you a couple of litres. Could mean a lot at the end of the race. Oh, and they're both very fast down the back straight.
Right on the attack now, a bit of slipstream from the Chief. Right behind Cameron.
Quicker.
No,
It's just
size.
showing him a nose.
Plays it a little bit safe. Can be a little bit dangerous trying to pull that inside move on that corner.
Well, we might start to see some pit stops very shortly, so that might be what Chief's waiting for, although he's certainly not letting off. Oh, he's flashing that. Is that an electrical problem, or is the Chief flashing his headlights?
He's probably saying, let me pass.
And here he goes.
Oh. Cameron was very late on the brakes there, and Shane realised that and thought, no, it's too deep for me, and pulled out of the move.
We've got the Wolf through traffic now. It's just past Stewart, who's the TAFE team's been flown over from Bathurst. The TAFE team from Bathurst, and they're working at Monza this weekend, doing a great job as always.
As we've got Tyson in the pits, one of the first at the top 10 to take the pit stop. So maybe he's pulling the Chiefs move and looking for that undercut. You're on lap 11.
While we've been following the leaders, the Panther has been into the pits.
He has as well, which means he would have got that car repaired.
TAFE team's been very busy. Another great job that they get these cars in and out so quickly.
So some of the field taking their pit stops now, looking for a little bit of an undercut on the cars. And looking at Brendan Ryan, a lot of damage to the front of that BMW. That's got to be hurting him.
Just watching Brendan too, yeah, he's that right-hand front's got a lot of damage, hurting his aero, his rear wing's twisted. He'll be looking for a pit stop very shortly, I'd imagine there, Dan. Oh, and it's interesting that we've got Brendan running a different coloured car on the feed when I'm watching it. With a different livery on.
Oh, okay. Could be a glitch there with the trading paints.
Yeah, it happens. I noticed it happened the other night as well. Plucker and I were talking about it. So, that's okay. Trading paints is a wonderful program. Brings us, helps bring the game, or the simulator, just to life that little bit more.
It does, and it's great that it's a third-party app for iRacing. They do a great job at trading paints, keep the software up to date, and provide. I mean, it's seamless performance into the sim.
Man, it's wonderful, and I remember the first time I used it, I went from really enjoying iRacing to, hang on, this has just gone up another level. Individualising cars or supporting your favourite team. It's good to see. The Wolf must be close to pitting. He's still out there. He's putting a lap on Stewart.
Yes, I was expecting some of these front runners to come in, but I suppose while they're all waiting for probably Duran to move. So once he moves, the rest of them will follow.
Well, if you have a look in at 2, 3, and 4, we've got Shane Evans, 4. We've got Cameron in 3 and JC in 2. It's getting quite close again as they come through the back markers.
Some of the slower cars will influence their lap times, so it's possibly a good time to get in and get that pit stop done before you do lose time. As we see Shane duck into the pits now, late dive.
Chief did just dive into the pits.
While he's in the pits, I'll see if I can get him on the race chat. Chief, you've got Pete and Daniel here from the commentary team. How's the race been? We just see you come into the pit lane, mate. Good race so far. Very close there with Cameron.
Yeah, mate, it's pretty hectic. I'm having to try hard to keep up with him.
Oh, you keep at it, mate. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on in the race.
Mate, Cameron's pushing hard on JC at the moment there, Dan. These guys would have seen the Chief going for their pit stop, and it wouldn't surprise me if they weren't going to do the same thing. They're coming up on a back marker. They've got Stewart in the BMW. This could be an opportunity for Cam to pick another position up.
We'll just see how this undercut might work, as the Chief hits back out of pit lane. He's had a 50-second pit stop in the lane of total time of 50 seconds, stopped for 24 seconds. So we'll see how the other two go and see what their pit times are like.
We've got the Wolf who's coming down the back straight just out of Ascari as the Chief leaves pit lane.
Surely these cars have got to be looking for fuel by about now.
JC and Cameron very close down the back straight.
Cameron's looking for that inside run. 13 laps into this race.
And there we go.
Cameron's kept it going.
The Wolf's in.
The Wolf's in. Cameron's hanging out there for a little bit longer.
Which puts Cameron Pusey into the lead. Car number 9 now has taken over the lead.
He's got a little bit of fresh air ahead of him, so I guess he's probably going to think he can make a little bit of time on this lap. But it's also going to help him out towards the end of the race as well. He's going to be able to take less fuel than the other guys, so be a big advantage towards the end.
Yep, but you know, on that note, you that little bit of cool, taking the pressure off your tyres that little bit earlier certainly impacts their life as well, as Cameron throws it through the chicane.
Duran is back out on the track.
Nice stop from the Wolf.
As the Chief comes through for his lap after pit.
Whoa, and the Chief.
Looking at some of the pit lane times, the Chief was actually in the pit lane for a long time. I hope us having a chat with him didn't slow him down any, because his 50 seconds was his total lane time. Most of the other cars are doing it in 44, 46 seconds.
What you may find is I think this might be a one-stop race. And somebody may have taken a little bit of fuel, extra fuel at the start, and put a little bit more in for the finish. So yeah, this might turn into a one-stop race, Dan. Where are we? Because we are 28 minutes into the race. So yeah, this is going to be a one-stopper.
20 minutes to go. As we see Cameron pull into pit lane. Now we'll see where he comes out in relations to the Wolf.
Maybe the Chief just started on a little bit less fuel.
There's a possibility.
Or maybe, you know, it wouldn't be maybe these other guys may not have put enough fuel in. You know, we've all seen it before. I know I've been pushed around the circuit after I ran out crossing the finish line of this place. So.
Yes, it's
and he's gone too far on his pit stall. He's had to back it up. Lost a second or two there.
That's definitely cost him a couple of seconds. As we see Duran come down the main straight now. Back up into one position.
A lot of activity in the pits too now.
Yeah, as we see Len Williams in the Ferrari.
And Cam's out.
Cam's out. JC's made it up into second.
JC back into second. Well, the good thing about these cars is your tyres are still warm. So, like a few of the other classes we run where you do a tyre change when you come out of the pit, you're on cold tyres, but everyone's tyres should keep some temperature.
And that bit of a mistake from Cameron in the pits has cost him. We've got the Chief sitting back behind him just 1.5 seconds, so...
He has, and the Chief's right back up there, so it doesn't take long. We saw basically 2 extra laps from Cam over when the Chief pitted, and the boys are pretty close to where they were when it all started.
It will be interesting to see what the fuel strategy is. Cameron was only sitting still for 18 seconds in pit lane, whereas the Chief, who's just run off the track, was sitting still for 24 seconds, so definitely took some more fuel.
Was there damage on that car?
To the Chief?
Yes, I missed him running off.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's gone wide, and he's gone through the bollards. Sensible move. Lost a little bit of extra time, but no, he's come out without any damage. Well done.
He might have a bit of a ripple up under the front bumper there, but very slight. We've thrown
we've got a yellow flag.
Caution.
Debris flag.
That must have come off that car through the chicane, so maybe it is Shane that's actually lost something from underneath that vehicle as he's come through the chicane. This will make it very interesting, a run to the race. 17 minutes remaining in this race with the pace car coming out on the track.
Well, this could also help anybody who was questionable on fuel. A couple of laps under the safety car certainly resets your fuel usage. But we've got a debris flag out. Debris on the track. Debris on the track. Well, this is certainly going to bunch things up again, Dan. And there's the safety car with Duran. Duran had a very, very nice lead up until that happened.
It's certainly cost him now. Everyone's going to be right back up on his tail.
Oh, somebody who's going to be very thankful. I'm just looking at the Panther in 9. Panther's back in 9.
While I've got a couple of minutes, or a minute up my sleeve, I'll take a quick break. I'll leave you with Pete to commentate the yellow as they're on pace.
Right, we've got all the cars are slowing down as we come through the grand curve. A few of the back markers are just putting the pace down to catch up. We've got Mitch Brown who's slowing down now into the back. We've got the Wolf, Stewart, Jacob, and the Skilby in the pack. Dave Douglas in 11. Len Williams is in 12 in the Ferrari. 13 is Ian Wiley. Muttley will be in 14. Stewart Bridesmaid Brinsmead in 15. That's your top 15. So we're behind the safety car. Safety car was thrown for debris on the circuit, it looked like. Certainly backed up everybody here now with 15 minutes to go, 12 minutes to go. These last 11, 12 minutes will be very exciting once the yellow flag drops. Will look like we'll probably go around for another lap behind the safety car.
Perfect time to be able to take a pit stop there under yellow.
Oh, wonderful time. Anybody who needed to get back up on the train will now be back up on the train. Duran's fastest lap, 46.39 in the race.
Taking a step back, we'll have a look at 10th position, Vincent. We'll see if we can get Vincent on the radio, have a chat to him. Vincent, you got Daniel and Pete in the commentary box. How's your race going tonight, mate?
Alright, could be a little bit better, but yeah, I'm managed to get up to the top 10.
Yeah, good effort, and one of the first Ferraris in the race, so doing well.
Yeah, I've been driving alright, I would say. Just trying to keep it clean, keep it out of everyone's way. But yeah, seems to be going alright at the moment.
Alright, thanks for the chat, and good luck with the rest of the race, Vincent.
Yeah, thanks guys.
He seems to be doing quite well, Pete. He's the first Ferrari, first of another make of car actually in the race. All the Mercedes are in the top 10, top 9, and Vincent in 10 in the Ferrari. Very good.
Now we've just seen a shell car going to the pits. I couldn't see who that was.
Stewart was the car heading into the pits. Now, hopefully the pit lane was open, or this could cause him to have a penalty.
This may have been the first time he could. When the safety car was called, it would have been closed. This should be green open pit lane, and next time round will be green flag. We've got Stewart Brinsmead also in for fuel, so these guys should be safe to go. They'll just get back on the end of the train.
Well, this is the last lap around. The lights are out on the pace car, so once we come around to the start finish, we will be go, go, go once again.
So everyone should have clean car, plenty of fuel to the finish. Tyres have had a little bit of a breather. Exciting stuff now that the pack is bunched up again. Top 15 cars are all on the lead lap. Exciting stuff, Dan. Monday night Wheelybins GT3. Very exciting.
It's been a very exciting race. Plenty of close racing, that's for sure.
Good to see a lot of cars still on the lead lap.
Bit of a shout out to the people watching on the YouTube stream. Also, a couple of people in the chat. What, mate? He's obviously back in Tyson. Yeah, boy. We got Patrick Carter. Shout out to you. He's looking for some telemetry at the moment. No live race telemetry apart from what we've got in the stream. Ross Rizzo. Give him hell, JC and Duran. So obviously a bit of a fan there. Thanks guys for tuning in and watching.
Yeah, it's great to see the interaction. A lot of big names of the online simulation sporting culture here tonight.
Yes, we've certainly brought out the stars for this GT race at Monza. And a reasonably clean race too. We've seen very minimal damage to vehicles, which is good. It's going to save some money. Although maybe we shouldn't speak so soon with this free start.
All right, well we're coming through Ascari onto the back straight. Safety car lights are out. Got Duran in 1, followed by JC, Cameron Pusey in 3, the Chief, Shane Evans in 4, Macca McAvoy in 5, Mitch Brown in the Erebus car, 6, the Panther is in 7, Eugene Blurton, Jacob Knight with his new pedals, he's in 8, Skilby, 9, Dave Douglas, he didn't have a favourable pit stop, he's in 10, Len Williams, Stuart Carsley, Willie, Muttley and Stuart round out the top 15, and we're looking close for a start here, Dan.
We are. Pace car has taken off.
And what a great looking car. It's good to see the Porsche also association here tonight, giving us their safety car for our race. The Wolf is getting ready to leap.
As away they go. Pedal to the metal. He's got a great jump, but JC was all over that. He got away just at the same time.
Oh, cracker start. The Wolf and JC, they've already pulled 2 seconds down the main straight. Nice.
They certainly got a great start and caught the rest of the field sleeping, I think.
Yeah, unusual for Cam Pusey. He's usually right on the pace in 3rd, followed by the Chief in 4th and Tyson in 5. Tyson has made a few positions up on down the main straight.
He has. He made quite a bold move a few weeks back down the inside lane here at Monza and managed to pick up a lot of spots too, so maybe that's what he's done once again. Right on the back of Shane, actually, the 2 shell cars.
Mate, if we have always gone a little bit wide too through the Lesmo, we drop it back a couple of positions. Dave Douglas on Skilby, pushing hard. Skilby had that Ferrari out. Oh, we've had a spin.
Jacob Knight's dropped way back. I've just seen that. Let's get a replay on that as he's come.
Jacob was pushing very hard.
Lost the rears and sent it around. That's unfortunate.
He's looking to make up some spots on that restart and he was doing really well. Well, that's his race over.
Very lucky for the Panther not to collect him on the way through there too. That is unfortunate.
The Panther's in 7th. Get a bit of a few cars pushing behind him though. We've got Skilby, Dave Douglas and Len. Oh, and Dave Douglas is down the inside. Chief's just pulling away from Tyson.
Vincent's sitting right on the back of Dave there actually. He's looking for that slipstream down the straight. We'll see what happens here. Balls to the inside. Balls to the inside. See what Vincent can do. Who's going to brake first? Vincent's brake the last. Into the corner, up the inside. Pulled that position on Dave back.
Great move, Vincent. Skilby, nice move. Not a lot in these cars. You're willing to push the envelope a little bit, it certainly can reward you, which it seems to have done for Skilby. He's got that position back. But let's not say Dave's going to let him have it for very long, because he's right on the back of him again.
Yeah, he's certainly looking hungry to pass that Ferrari, that's for sure. Looks to the inside, doesn't quite have the time or the run up on the back of Vincent. Oh, he's run wide.
Okay, you can do it there. A little bit of muck on the tyres as long as you get around the next turn. Should all be off through the back straight down to Ascari.
Ran wide again. Len Williams got covered in stones there from Dave.
And the Panther just in front of these three.
He's made a good recovery in this race after the bit of shenanigans earlier on, getting rear-ended, but done well, sitting right at the back of Mitch Brown.
Yeah, we might see a move on here. Mitch has put himself in the right spot to not give Panther the inside, but would be the first time Panther's taken the long way around into the Parabolica. Oh, and he does it too. Can he keep it? Can he make it stick? And he does. And also here's Dave Douglas. Great pass from the Panther. Dave Douglas up the inside of Skilby behind them, and I think he's going to make this stick too, down the main straight.
I think the Ferrari might be able to break a little bit later into this corner. We'll see how we go. Dave breaks a little bit later. Vincent around the outside. Inside for the second part of the chicane. Holds that position still.
Nice move.
Very
certainly a long bowl, but Dave's around the outside of Curva Grande.
He's going to hold that inside line for the next chicane. Going to make it very hard for Vincent.
He's not going to let him have this one. Oh, and he does. Dave pulls out early.
Vincent braking very late in that Ferrari, which has forced him wide out of that chicane.
Which has punished him, and here's Dave up the inside into the Lesmo 1.
And Len's sitting there. He's hungry as well, coming up on side by side of Vincent, wanting that position too. Just backs out of it a little bit. He's been watching these two battle and just making a little bit of time.
Panthers run off. If we move up forward, we've got Tyson back on the tail of the Chief again. The Shell procession.
Little bit of damage there to the front of Shane's car. I'm guessing that was when he ran through that chicane just before the safety car. The bonnet's a little bit popped.
And if we go another 2 positions up, we've got Cameron Pusey and JC going hard. Cameron's made the move, and JC up the inside going into the Parabolica. Runs wide, loses a second.
Cameron's made some great time since the restart to put it up there behind JC, and actually made that pass. JC's got that slipstream down the straight. Don't think he's quite close enough to get the move made. That turn 1, turn 2.
Good driving from both those guys tonight. And the Wolf.
3 seconds
Daylight.
up the road, yeah. Unbelievable driving by the Wolf tonight.
Oh, and here we go, Tyson sticking his nose up the inside. Sorry to cut you off, Dan. Looking very hungry here to take a position off the Chief.
Certainly putting him under all sorts of pressure, isn't he?
He is. On 2 wheels, nearly runs wide.
Awesome piece of racing between these two.
Tyson's certainly quick around here, and the Chief is as well. Yeah, these guys could certainly... This hasn't finished yet. We've got 5 minutes. We're nearly over.
We are almost over. We're saying 2 laps to go. Time-wise, yeah, 3 minutes left to go in this race.
Okay, as we see JC and Cameron again for position. It's getting closer. He might just not have the time for him to catch up as he runs wide through the Parabolica to get a nice line down the straight, which is going to put him in a good spot. He's got a good slipstream. You might see something into the first chicane.
I think we will. JC's got that right run. He's only 0.2 behind him. So oh, look at that run up the straight there now. Ducks to the inside. Both braking at about the same time, holding lines up the inside. Cameron's had to back out of that and slip back in behind JC.
Great move. Nice work, both those guys under brakes, giving each other a bit of space. JC had the slipstream and used it beneficially, put himself back into 2. P2.
Trying to get the overlap again there, Cameron, as they come out of that corner.
Oh, and Cameron's a little taily, but oh, he's fast and he's going to get up the inside as we go into the Lesmo.
Yeah, a little mistake by both cars there. It's up the inside.
Nice work, Cameron. Oh, a little bit of a touch. These guys aren't giving each other an inch. Oh, and that's a big touch.
Yeah, big nudge in the rear panel. Cameron was lucky to be able to drive away from that.
JC just got on the brakes a bit harder and gave him a bit of space. So good driving, guys. Nice work. I think that might have sealed it. We might see the two behind them now. Might be the battle for the finish. Tyson and the Chief. As we've got the Wolf 3 seconds out in front. Great drive by the Wolf tonight with his Racket Corp sponsored GT3 car.
With a minute 30 left to go in this race, I reckon we'll have 2 more laps remaining for the Wolf. Five seconds out in front of Cameron now. The fight between Cameron and JC has slowed them down a little bit, and the Wolf's just walked away out in front.
Well, it seems to have stabilised for 2, 3, 4 and 5.
As we see Tyson up behind the Chief again.
Late on the brakes.
Dave Douglas and Mitch Brown. Oh, Dave Douglas has ran through that first corner.
Dave has. Now Dave's going to get a slowdown for that. Picked up in front of the Panther, but he's going to have to give that position back.
He will. Does. He's slowed down now. Let's see if Mitch is going to be able to make that time back on him as well. They were side by side down that straight. Dave will be hoping that clears that slowdown. Mate, that's
at least a 3, and it looks like it's cleared. He's driving on. That's a minimum 3 second slowdown what he's done there. So he's he's still slow.
Yeah, Mitch Brown's gained a lot of time and going to get back up on the inside of him. I don't think he quite cleared it. Mitch Brown's moved up into 7th.
Dave's back on Mitch and he's not going to let Mitch have that position.
No, he's certainly hungry to have that position back. That mistake at that chicane cost him dearly, so he wants to make that up. The race clock has run out, so across the line this time, Duran will be getting the white flag.
Okay, the action seems to be with Dave and Mitch. 6 and 7, no, 7 and 8. As Dave comes through, sticks it up the inside into the parabolic, and
that was the final lap that they were on, and Duran's just put it into the wall as a grand final.
Oh, Duran. Duran's the winner. Big drive from Duran. The Wolf in 1, followed by Cameron Pusey takes number 2. Another great drive. JC Richards in 3. The Chief in 4. Oh, they're all celebrating down the main straight.
It's Carnage Plus.
TAFE crew's going to be very busy after this.
Hadn't barely bent a panel all race, and then Mayhem, as the title of the name insists. So we've got the 3 shell cars lining up for a bit of a photo.
Great drive from the Wolf, led pretty well from start to finish.
We'll cross over to the in-car race chat with the Chief to see how his race went. He's doing some celebratory burnouts there.
It's burnouts.
Chief, you're on with the commentary crew, mate. Some celebratory burnouts there. Tyson was giving you a bit of hurry up in the end. How'd you go?
Yeah, that was really good fun. Yeah, Tyson was catching me there at the end. I was trying to just keep it straight. My tyres were starting to get a bit squeamy, and yeah, it was good fun.
No, it's good to see. We had some great racing all round. Very limited in the way of damage, which is nice to see. The pit crews will be happy for that. Great racing all around. Congratulations to Duran, number 1. Awesome racing. How did you think of it tonight, Pete?
Mate, what a great race. You know, we had 25 cars enter for the event. We had 24 cars, as I've just seen one of the shell cars fly through the air. as Muttley's hit him. But a great race. Yep, a lot of good driving. A lot of cars finish. We had 14 cars finish on the lead lap. That's just shows the quality of the field. Excellent driving from Duran to win, obviously. Cameron and JC battled all race. Shane and Tyson, we saw a little bit of a mistake early from Tyson, but with the safety car helped a few people get back up to that position, and we saw him pushing the Chief hard, clean racing. The Panther, a little bit unfortunate for him. He had the incident on lap 2, which put him back a little bit, but finishes in 6th. Dave Douglas had a strong run into 7. Dave started outside the top 10. Mitch Brown, don't see a lot of Mitch. He's finished in 8th. Another great drive. Skilby in the Ferrari and Stuart Carsley lock out the top 10.
Our race winner, Duran the Wolf. How's it feel to be the race winner this evening here at Monza in the GT3?
Yeah, cheers, Dan. Yeah, it was a good race. I got some clear air at the front, and then the safety car came out and made it a little bit more interesting. So I thought I'd back the field right up and let the safety car go through ahead and then just drop the ball on the guys and take off again. I think I caught JC out and a few of the other guys. So yeah, but thanks for the race anyway.
Yeah, some awesome racing up the front there. Cameron managed to pitch number 2. How was the racing out there, Cameron?
I don't think Cameron has a mic, but I'm sure he'll say it was good fun.
Righto, and JC, you got a mic on there. Great race, very close door-to-door action there at the end with Cameron.
Yep, I hope I'm on mic. Yeah, that was good. That was really fun.
Great racing. Well done, guys. Thank you. And that's it, Pete. That's Monza there and done with the GT3s.
Mate, good job, Dan. Overlays, another good presentation from you. Thanks for putting in the time and the effort to present the Wheelybins Monza GP GT3 race on Wheelybins Mayhem Republic live television on a Monday night. Nice to be here with you. Saw some excellent racing. I hope everyone was entertained. I know I certainly was.
It certainly was great racing, and and thank you to everybody who tuned in to the broadcast. We do this for a bit of fun, but it's nice to have people watching and enjoy it as well, so we hope you did enjoy it. Our great sponsors, Shock Electronics, Limelight Motorsport, Sonic Works and West End Mazda, we thank you for being a part of the Wheelybins Mayhem Republic. Thank you very much for your company tonight, Peter.
And you, Dan. See you next week.
We certainly will. See you next time round. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Wheelybins TV for Wheelybins Mayhem Republic. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. See you next time.